a young boy who eavesdropped on his babysitter's Bible studies, a Brazilian pastor reaching out to postmoderns, and the Adventist Church touching lives in New York City. All that and much more coming up next on Global Mission Snapshots.
Just before he went up to heaven, Jesus gave us a command. He gave us a mission. Jesus said, "Go. Go unto all the world, telling them of His love." This is our mission. This is our global mission.
Hello, I'm Gary Krause and welcome to Global Mission Snapshots. Dr. Kleber Gonçalves, Director of Global Mission's Center for Secular and Postmodern Studies, preaches what he practices. Not only does he have his PhD in ministry to postmodern people, but this is the focus of the church that he's planted and pastors in the heart of São Paulo, Brazil. We'll be talking with him today. We'll also talk with Dr. May Ellen Colon, who cares for community services for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. But first up, let's visit the city of New York to learn more about what's been happening there as part of the Adventist Church's Mission to the Cities initiative.
As we draw closer to the end of each year, we often reflect on recent events. In 2013, some of the world's events made people smile and laugh, while others caused tears. Within the Seventh-day Adventist Church, we are able to look back on our positive efforts in New York City. Between preaching and personalized ministry, New Yorkers had the opportunity to see God's wonderful message. Members, organizations, and teams worked hard to impact this large city. The 1 Year in Mission team is just one example of those who spent months in New York, contributing to the church's mission. Coming together from all regions of the world, they planned unique events to unite in mission.
The cooking class was an event where we just wanted to use it actually to get in contact with community people. At the same time, we wanted also to teach them health principles, but more importantly, we wanted to lead them to God.
If you think about Christ's ministry, he always met people where they were. He fed them first. He didn't try to preach to them. He didn't try to teach them or anything. He fed their need, or he supplied the need that really helped them to preach to them for the most part.
As a team, we worked so hard to get everything ready. Each one of us has a different roles, and we got stressed every Wednesday, but at the end of every Wednesday, we were so happy and we were so glad to see the reaction of the people, how they enjoyed the class, the food, the fellowship, and I think this was our prize.
From week to week, it kept getting better, and so we're really thankful to God for that.
People in Harlem, they seem like they're so much interested about vegetarian food. Whenever I introduce like, oh, today we have vegetarian cooking class and it's international. Chefs are from India and Mexico. They were so much interested in it.
Thanks for coming.
I met a woman who's been coming to our class on a regular basis. She said, I'm a heavy meat eater. She said, I'm about to change my life. My life is about to change. She said, from here on out, I'm going to change the way that I do things because I've learned about New Start and I can't go back to what I was.
There was one lady, I told her, well, we have a health lecture. And then she was suddenly interested. And so she started coming, and she was a little skeptical in the beginning, but she was there every single time. She was one of the only ones who didn't miss any night. And I got to also make friends with her and talk to her.
It was better than I expected because of the countries and the information, the learning about the different countries. It wasn't just vegetarianism, it was vegetarian from all over the world.
At the end, our goal was to introduce Jesus to the New Start, and then at the end, we have trust in God. We thought about how can we connect this food activity to Christ.
The best part is we don't have to do something great. You can do small little things and do it with all your heart, and God can bless that little. Amazing.
This team of youth spent months forming personal relationships with their neighbors and finding ways to contribute to their community. They have already gone back to their home countries and are bringing a fresh perspective on mission to the cities. Compassion Day is just one of many events they can replicate back home.
Far too often we can talk about how to show Jesus' love, but we keep talking without much doing.
A group of young people, thousands and thousands of young people coming in. We had little people, big people, older people doing things that just sort of impacted New York in a dynamic way.
I think that we use the word compassion in such a way that we think it's a box, that we just place it there and everything is compassionate. I think compassion is like butter. You have your bread and then you spread the compassion all around. And everyone that came there from different places, they were bringing with them that compassion butter. And wherever they went, they were just meshing it around.
It's living in a way that shows Jesus' love in a real and practical way.
The air about it, being at the park, walking across the bridge, and then when we convened, it was just, you could feel it was a different kind of spirit around us. It was really, really awesome.
People, they like to be successful. So as you pray with people and they touch their needs, most of the people, they like it. So when I knew that it is praying with people, I knew that that one is so nice for me and nice for them too.
I would like to take this compassion movement and use it back home in little acts of kindness, little acts of generosity, little acts of love that we can show people. Try and implement the compassion movement back home, and maybe we can march across the Nelson Mandela Bridge.
It's not just an event, it's not a day, it's not a weekend, it's a lifestyle.
The whole idea of compassion is something that I think I can take back home, because it's so easy to just be nice to people, essentially. Stop and talk to someone, take the time to give them the time of day, help someone cross the street, take their groceries to the car, just the small things. So it's about living a life of compassion all the time.
As Christian youth, as Adventist youth, being available to do such an activity on the Sabbath where we become the sermon, that's what Compassion Weekend was all about.
In 2014, the Seventh-day Adventist Church plans to branch out to various cities around the world. We will focus on one city from each region of the world. Cities such as Tokyo, London, and Mumbai are just a few planned for 2014. One city in each region is just the start of this church initiative. Between now and 2015, one city in each union will be chosen, and beyond that, one city in each conference. By 2015, more than 650 of the world's major cities will have an opportunity to know Jesus in a way they may not have ever known him before. More than half of the world's population now lives in cities, so the urban areas are where we need to be. These urban areas are an important part of the work Christ has called us to do. As we move forward, let us be encouraged to do amazing things through Christ. Please pray for mission to the cities, and thank you for supporting the mission of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
My guest is Pastor Kleber Gonçalves, who is the director of the Global Mission Center for Secular and Postmodern Studies, and he also pastors an Adventist church in downtown São Paulo. Kleber, thanks so much for joining us.
A pleasure to be here.
Now, you were originally from Brazil, but you came to the United States for some time, and now you're back in Brazil. What took you back to São Paulo?
Actually, let me mention a little bit what brought me here to the U.S.
Yes.
I was pastoring in São Paulo downtown, close to downtown actually, and I felt the need to understand new ways to reach a particular group of people in that city. I was working in a church with intellectual people involved, with high-class type of members. And I noticed that we were not reaching anyone. You see. And so I said to myself, I need to learn more. Then we decided to come to the U.S. I was ordained before that. And then we spent almost 9 years at Andrews. But in a very, very strong way, God told me, you, my son, you go back and you plant a church.
Okay, so 9 years at Andrews University,
Exactly.
where you actually studied how to reach these sort of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
We spent quite a few years in there preparing. I did my master's degree and my doctoral degree in there. And then with this dream to go back and to plant this church in downtown São Paulo.
Now, that takes a lot of planning, right?
That's true.
So did you have a team you were working with? How did you start?
Well, at the beginning it was just a spiritual experience with God. I had no idea with whom to start, just myself and my wife. I remember the day we arrived, I just opened the windows of the hotel room we were staying at that time, and then I told her, darling, just have a look. Where do we go? And we were just praying, asking God, please send us the right type of people. People who have passion for those who have no idea who are you. And then we started from there.
Wow.
I visited a few churches and trying to find this type of people, and the Lord was just guiding them to us. And that's how we started.
So you looked out of your hotel windows to the large city of São Paulo with 20 million people, and you said, Lord, where do we start?
Yeah, exactly.
So you started with a group of people, you prayed and planned together. What were your first steps?
Well, at the beginning, we were meeting every single Sabbath afternoon because all of us were attending our own churches at that time. We picked one church to attend in the morning because of our kids. In the afternoon, we were together praying, doing some vision casting with them and dreaming and asking, Lord, how can we do this? And we spent almost 6 months with no services, just us. 16 people at the beginning, and then after a month, I told them, you know what, now you can invite someone who can help us. And then we doubled the number of people. And when we launched, we were about 55 people together as the core group.
This is about 9 years ago?
9 years ago.
Yeah. Now, did you have a church building? Did you have a rented facility?
No, we had to rent. At the beginning, we rented a kind of convention center, very small. We spent almost 3 to 4 months, but the church grew so fast we couldn't continue. And right now we are in our 4th facilities. We have changed 4 times addresses, and because of the growth we are facing.
So how many people can come in worship at one time?
Right now we have rented a casino at downtown.
Of course.
We remodeled the whole thing.
Yes.
We've been there for a little over 4 years. We can sit close to 500 people in that particular place, but we have multiple services on Sabbath. Right now we are having 4 services, so we can have more people.
So you have 4 services in each Sabbath.
Exactly.
Are they aimed at the same group of people?
No. We have morning services for church members to do our discipleship and in order to refuel themselves with energy and passion for mission. In the afternoon, we do evangelistic outreach.
Okay.
Because those who we are trying to reach, we cannot simply ask them to come on Sabbath morning.
Right.
Before they understand what the Sabbath is, it's almost impossible.
So you have up to 1,200 people coming now every Sabbath. Now, we look at those numbers, we rejoice, but tell me the story of someone whose life has been affected through Novo Semente.
Well, there is a guy, his name is Daniel. He was with us from the beginning. A friend invited him to come. But Daniel had a problem for us because he was not even Christian. He didn't believe in God. He was a very open person, but didn't believe in the Bible, not even Jesus. He didn't have any clue who was Jesus. But he was someone who is willing to, he was willing to help. That's a characteristic of postmoderns. They want to help. And he began to helping us with the computer systems we had at the church, and then he became a cameraman. And for almost 2 years, he was helping us without accepting Christ. One day he came to me and said, Pastor, I have a good news for you. I said, what happened, Danny? I accepted Jesus. And I told him, how come? And then he told me, you know what? Every day, my family, they get together because they were Messianic as a family. They pray for their own Messiah, Eastern type of Messiah. We have to pray every day at 6 in the morning to our Messiah. But I noticed in the Bible that your Messiah prayed for me. The Jesus prayer in John 17. And that experience changed completely his idea of Christ and God. And then he accepted Christ. He was baptized, became our production director. It's a faithful Seventh-day Adventist.
So from his initial contact through to baptism, how long was that?
Almost 2 years.
So actually, for postmodern people, that's relatively quick. It can be a lot longer, right?
Actually, our average has been 18 to 24 months.
Is that right? Okay.
You see, 1.5 to 2 years. But we have cases that it took almost 4 years for a decision.
Yeah.
So one of the main characteristics, they don't like to be pushed for a decision like that. So we just give them room to experience and to have this strong way of looking at God and accepting His ways to their lives.
Fantastic. Kleber, thanks so much for sharing with us.
A pleasure to be here with you.
And viewers at home, Nova Sementi Church in Sao Paulo, you can go to their website, www.novasementi.org. You can watch Kleber preach, see the worship service and catch some of the inspiration. My guest is Dr. May Ellen Colon, and she is the Director of Adventist Community Services for the World Church. But what we want to focus on today, May Ellen, is your mission experience, and that's been in various parts of the world. But West Africa, when did you go there?
We went there in 1988.
Okay.
And when we got married, my husband and I, we had wanted to do it a lot sooner. But we could put our name in after we got married, and the calls kept coming, and it was never quite the right time. Things were going on in our life where it wouldn't work to go at certain times. But this one finally came, and to go to Côte d'Ivoire to be part of the newly established division called African Indian Ocean Division.
Now, did you speak French?
Well, before we ended up in Côte d'Ivoire, they banished us to France for a while.
Okay.
And went to Cologne for several months and took French. Then when we arrived in Côte d'Ivoire, the French there had such a completely different accent. We're saying, is this the French we learned?
It's the same language?
Yeah, it had just a whole new rhythm.
Yeah.
But we finally got used to it.
Okay, and so your husband Gaspar was caring for health ministries for that region.
Yes.
You were caring for family ministries.
Yes, and Gaspar also worked with me in that, even though I spent most of the time on it.
Good. So you worked as a family
Yeah,
together.
well, you know, when you're working with family ministries, you should present as a family.
Exactly.
Seminars.
Exactly. Now, what are some of the memories you have of that time?
Oh, well, I just remember that this was a place, our children were 4 and 6. These were the formative years of their lives. And they went to French school to start with and learned how to read in French before English. And I was worried, will it transfer? And it did. They read fine English. They read English fine today. And then we, at that time, I remember in the front yard of our home, we had a little story hour for the community children. These are just some memories. And also our son was baptized there in Abidjan. And you'll see in the picture, this was the baptistry behind the church that we belonged to.
Wonderful.
And a memory that really stands out from all of our trips, we took trips among the many countries in this division, which covered West Africa, including Rwanda, and also all of the Indian Ocean. And one of the many trips we took as a couple was in Gabon, which is on the west coast of Central Africa. And we were doing there what we did on many of our other trips, presenting family ministries, family life seminars, and this was a series on family wellness. It was called How to Have a Well Family and the Factors that go into that. And this was in Libreville, the capital of Gabon, and they speak French there. And as you see in the picture, you'll see the writing is in French on the sign behind the pulpit. And a young man attended our seminars. He worked in the national radio and TV station, and he had reported on many things before for the Adventist Church in that country, and so he was called to report again on what was happening this time. And he listened and stayed the whole weekend, even though he probably didn't have to, and he got a certificate at the end. And then he told us, I have decided I want to be a part of a church that teaches these things and about the abundant life and how families can be whole again. And he said, I just want to follow Jesus all the way. And we were thrilled.
Right, just from covering the event, he listened.
Yeah, yes. And then as we were at the airport, he met us. We had said bye at the church, and he met us, and he says, well, I have something I want to give you. He basically chased us down because he had to try to find us at the airport. And he had this with him. And we were wondering the meaning of this. And he says, I want to give you something because this is a very precious item that my mother gave me, these items, before I went to college. She knew I was going to start a new beginning in life, and so she wanted to give me something. And this is a water bottle. This was my water bottle. It was like a gourd. It's like an Nalgene bottle, like our water bottle. And so I want to give you this. And this is a mat that she gave me for eating, you know, to hold my food.
Oh, I see.
And in a basket to hold some other food items. And all this, to me, has been a symbol through the years of new beginnings.
Ah, fresh starts.
Fresh starts. You know, I'm starting my education, a new part of life. And now I am about to start another new beginning, accepting Jesus with all my heart. And I want you to just remember me this way. And so he just parted with it, a very precious thing, and we thanked him, and we rejoiced for the decision that he had made. And so the pastor there gave him Bible studies, and eventually he joined the church there.
Wow.
And years later, we talked to somebody from Gabon and asked if they knew him and how he was doing, and we were told he was a leader in the church there and was doing well. And so it is exciting. Just one memory that stands out among many memories in mission service. And our children grew up in an environment where they were in the minority, and they learned how to appreciate other cultures.
Yeah, what an experience.
And I will never be the same from this experience. And I don't want to be.
No, of course not.
And I'm wearing actually a Nigerian costume.
I was going to ask you, from Nigeria.
And this actually belongs on my head.
I would like to see it on your head.
But I didn't want to. I didn't have any Nigerian friends around that I had a chance to meet here at 3ABN to help me put it on.
Okay.
But I know many of you have seen these lovely headdresses that the Africans, the Nigerians and the West Africans wear.
Yeah,
very
beautiful. It is beautiful.
Yes.
Marilyn, thank you so much for sharing with us today, just a glimpse of some of your experience.
You're very welcome.
And viewers at home, please pray for missionaries. There are hundreds and hundreds of missionaries serving in many parts of the world, often in very challenging circumstances, far from home, can be lonely, but it's lovely for them to know that people are praying.
This is Nico. Nico is from the country of Greece. He lives in the big city of Athens. Here you can find plenty of places to explore. Since both of Nico's parents work, he usually goes to a babysitter during the day. He likes to play different games, and he loves to draw. Not long ago, the family that babysits Nico was studying the Bible with an Adventist pastor. They were learning about the exciting stories from the Bible. Nico would usually sit on the side and continue to draw. Nobody thought he was paying attention to the lessons from the Bible studies, but he was actually listening to every word. One day, Nico went home and told his mom what he had learned that day. His mom was surprised when he told her they needed to change the food in their diet.
And Mom, we're not going to have pork anymore or tune anything else new, okay?
He told her he might want to become a Seventh-day Adventist. Nico asked his mother to wake him up for church the next Sabbath. She became curious why her son felt so strongly about becoming a Seventh-day Adventist. Since she wanted to support his choices, she asked him questions. He told her all about the things he learned while secretly listening to the babysitter's Bible studies. Everything he told her sounded nice, so she decided to join the family for their next Bible study. After some time, the babysitters were baptized, and shortly after, Nico and his mother gave their hearts to Jesus too. Now Nico and his mother study the Bible together. They love the new lessons they learn each time they read the Bible. Please pray for the people in Greece who are searching for a friendship with Jesus. Pray that they find Jesus just like Nico and his mother did. Thank you for supporting Mission.
We often feature global mission pioneers on this program, and over the years it's been my privilege to meet many of these special people. They're humble church members, usually young people who receive basic training and they work within their own cultures to plant new groups of believers in unentered areas or people groups. If you're interested in meeting some of these beautiful global mission pioneers and learning more about their special work, we have an offer today, a DVD that's 100% devoted to global mission pioneer stories. This DVD is a wonderful resource. It's a truly inspiring tribute to these wonderful, dedicated church planters. So if you live in North America, just call our toll-free number, 1-800-648-5824, or visit our website, adventistmission.org, and ask for the Global Mission Pioneer DVD, or offer number 310. To get this inspirational DVD, don't forget to clearly state your name and address. So on behalf of Adventist missionaries, pastors, teachers, and global mission pioneers serving around the world, thank you so much for your continuing prayers and support. And that's it for today's program. I hope you can join me next time right here on Global Mission Snapshots. Until then, God bless.